She was only 17 years old, and that night changed everything. I still remember the way she looked at me when she walked into that diner, like she didn't belong there, like the world had already been too heavy for someone that young. It was late, almost midnight, rain hitting the windows so hard you could barely see the street outside. I was sitting alone, finishing a long shift, trying not to think about my own life falling apart. Divorce papers in my bag, empty apartment waiting for me, and a silence I wasn't ready to go back to. Then, the door opened. She walked slowly, hood over her head, wet hair, shaking hands. She looked around like she was deciding whether to stay or run. The waitress asked, "You okay, honey?" She nodded, but her voice didn't match her face. "Just coffee." She sat 2 tables away from me, and for some reason, I couldn't stop watching. Not in a creepy way, not like that. More like something felt wrong, like she wasn't supposed to be there, like she was hiding from something, or someone. 5 minutes later, the door opened again, and that's when I knew this night wasn't normal. 3 guys walked in, loud, drunk, looking around the room like they owned it. One of them saw her immediately and smiled. Not the kind of smile you want to see, the kind that makes your stomach drop. He walked straight to her table. "Thought you could leave?" She froze, didn't even look up. "I told you, I just wanted to go home," she whispered. He laughed. "Home? You don't go home until I say you go home." That's when I stood up. Not because I wanted trouble, not because I was trying to be a hero, just because something inside me said, if you sit down right now, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I walked over slowly. She said she wants to leave. All 3 of them turned. The biggest one stepped closer. "And who the hell are you?" I didn't answer right away, because the truth was, I didn't know either. Just a guy with nothing left to lose. But that night, that was enough. And that's when everything started. The guy stepped closer to me. Too close. Too close for that cheap cologne. "Her father?" he asked, smirking. "No." "Her boyfriend?" "No." He laughed and looked back at his friends. "Then sit down, man. This doesn't concern you." I should have. Honestly, I should have walked away. But the girl finally looked up, and I saw it. Fear. Real fear. Not embarrassment, not drama, not attitude. Fear like she thought something bad was about to happen. And that was enough. "She said she wants to leave," I repeated. The big one sighed like I was annoying him. "You don't understand. She owes us." That word hit wrong. Owes. Nobody says that unless something's already broken. The girl shook her head fast. "I don't owe you anything. I told you I'm not going back." He grabbed the back of her chair. "You don't decide that." That's when my hand moved before my brain did. I grabbed his wrist. Not hard, just enough to stop him. The whole diner went silent. Even the waitress stopped moving. He looked down at my hand, then back at me. "You really want to do this?" "No," I said, "but I will." For a second, nobody moved. Then one of his friends laughed. "Relax, man. We don't need trouble." The big guy kept staring at me, trying to decide, fight or walk away. Finally, he let go of the chair, but before stepping back, he leaned closer to the girl. "You think this guy can protect you?" She didn't answer. He smiled. "You'll call me. You always do." Then they turned and walked out. The doors slammed behind them. The sound echoed through the whole place. Nobody talked for a few seconds. Then the waitress whispered, "Do you want me to call the police?" The girl shook her head fast. "No, please don't." Her hands were shaking so bad she couldn't even hold the cup. I sat back down at my table, tried to pretend it was over. It wasn't. A minute later, she stood up, walked over, and stopped in front of me. "Why did you help me?" I looked at her. "Honestly, I don't know." She sat down across from me without asking. For a second, she just stared at the table. Then she said quietly, "I can't go home." That sentence hit harder than the fight. "Why?" She hesitated, like saying it out loud would make it real. "Because if I go back, they won't let me leave again." My chest tightened. "Who?" She swallowed. "My stepfather." Silence. Rain hitting the window. Coffee getting cold. And that moment I realized this wasn't just some random night. This was the kind of night that changes lives. Mine and hers. And I had no idea yet how bad it was about to get. Because right then, my phone started vibrating. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something told me, answer. I did, and the voice on the other end said, "Is she with you?" My blood went cold. "Who is this?" Pause. Then, "Put her on the phone, now." I looked at her. Her face went white, and she whispered, "He found me." I slowly lowered the phone. "Who is this?" I asked again. Silence. Then the voice came back, colder this time. "You know exactly who this is. Put her on the phone." I looked at the girl. Her lips were shaking. "Don't. Please don't." The man on the phone heard her. His tone changed instantly. "So she is with you." My stomach dropped. "Listen," I said, trying to stay calm. "She doesn't want to talk right now." He laughed. Not loud, not angry, just confident. "She doesn't get to decide that." I felt something inside me snap. "She does tonight." Silence again. Longer this time. Then he said something that made my hands go cold. "You have no idea who you're talking to." I looked out the window. Rain still pouring. Dark street. Empty parking lot. "I don't care," I said. Wrong answer. "You will." Click. The call ended. The girl stared at me like the world just ended. "He knows where I am. He always knows." I stood up and walked to the window. 2 headlights turned into the parking lot. Slow. Too slow. My heart started beating harder. "Is that him?" I asked. She didn't even look. "Yes." The car stopped right in front of the diner. Black SUV. Engine still running. Nobody got out. Just sitting there. Watching. The waitress came closer. "You okay?" "Yeah," I lied. "Everything's fine." It wasn't. The girl grabbed my sleeve. "He'll come inside. He always does." I looked around the diner. 3 tables. Old couple. Truck driver. Teenager with headphones. Nobody ready for trouble. Not like this. I turned back to her. "Listen to me. Do you trust me?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Good. When I say go, you go to the back door." Her eyes widened. "What about you?" "I'll handle him." The bell above the front door rang. Too late. He was already inside. Tall, mid-40s, expensive coat, clean shoes, calm face. Too calm. He didn't look angry. That was worse. His eyes locked on her immediately. "There you are." She froze, didn't move, didn't breathe. He walked closer, slow, like he owned the place. Then he looked at me and smiled. "You must be the hero." I didn't answer. He looked at the girl again. "Get up." She didn't move. I said, "Get up." My chair scraped the floor. "No."
The whole diner went silent again. He looked back at me, long, careful, like he was measuring something. "You don't understand the situation." "Then explain it." He sighed, like I was wasting his time. "She lives in my house. She follows my rules." "She's 17. "So?" That word made my blood boil. "So, she's not your property." His smile disappeared for the first time. "You should leave, right now." No. The tension in the room felt like it could break glass. He stepped closer, very close. Low voice. "You don't know what I can do." I leaned forward. "You don't know what I already did." He stopped, just for a second. Enough. Enough to see doubt. Enough to see he wasn't sure anymore. And then, sirens. Far away at first, then closer. The waitress. She called them. The man's jaw tightened. He looked at the door, then at me, then at the girl. "This isn't over." He turned, walked out, fast this time. The SUV drove off before the police even arrived. The girl collapsed into the chair, hands covering her face. I thought he'd take me back." I sat down slowly. "No, not tonight." She looked at me, eyes red. "Why are you helping me?" I didn't answer right away, because the truth was, I didn't even know yet. I just knew one thing. That night wasn't over, not even close. Because when the police walked in, one of them looked at me and said, "Sir, we need to talk to you too." And that's when I realized this story wasn't just about her, it was about me and the mistake I made 17 years ago.
The officer looked at me like he already knew something. Not suspicious, not friendly, just careful. "Sir, can you step outside with me for a minute?" My stomach tightened. The girl grabbed my sleeve. "Don't go, please." "It's okay," I said quietly. "It's just questions." I wasn't sure if I believed that myself. Outside, the rain had slowed down, but the air felt heavy. The police lights were flashing across the wet pavement, turning everything blue and red. The officer stood next to the car and looked at his notes. "What's your name?" "Mark Callahan." He nodded slowly. "You know the girl?" "No." He looked up. "You sure about that?" That question hit harder than anything that happened inside. "Yeah," I said. "I just met her tonight." Another officer walked over. Older, gray hair, tired eyes. He looked at me for a long second, then at the diner, then back at me. "You ever lived in Brookside?" My heart stopped. I hadn't heard that name in years, too many years. "Yeah, a long time ago." He nodded. "I thought so." The girl opened the diner door and stepped outside. She shouldn't have, but she did, her voice shaking. "Please, he didn't do anything wrong." The older officer looked at her, then at me, then back at her again. "What's your name?" She hesitated, then said it. "Lena." Everything inside me went cold. Not because of the name, because of the feeling. Like I had heard it before, like I knew it, but my brain didn't want to understand yet. The officer spoke again. "Last name?" She looked down. Quiet. Too quiet. "Lena Callahan." The world stopped. Literally stopped. I felt the air leave my lungs. "What did you say?" She looked up slowly, eyes full of tears. "Callahan." Same as mine. The officer looked at me. "You said you didn't know her." "I don't." My voice didn't sound like mine anymore. He opened his folder, flipped a page, then held it up. Old photo. Very old. A woman. Young. Smiling. I felt my legs go weak. "No." The officer spoke quietly. "You knew her mother,
I couldn't breathe. 17 years ago. Brookside. One summer, one mistake, one girl I never saw again. And suddenly, everything made sense. I looked at Lena, really looked this time. Same eyes, same smile, same expression I remembered from a lifetime ago. Her voice broke. My mom told me your name once, but she said you didn't know. She said you left before she could tell you. My hands started shaking. What did you say? Tears rolled down her face. That I was yours. Silence. No sirens, no rain, no sound at all. Just those words. That I was yours. 17 years, and the first time I saw my daughter was in a diner at midnight, running from a man who thought he owned her. I leaned against the police car just to stay standing. The officer spoke softly. She ran from home tonight. Neighbor called it in. We tracked the car. I looked at Lena. You came here alone? She nodded. I didn't know where else to go. I just walked. My chest hurt like something inside it was breaking open. All those years, all that time, and this was the moment we met. Not at a birthday, not at a school, not in a park. In the middle of the night, in the rain, after a fight, after fear, after everything went wrong. She whispered, I'm sorry. That word hit harder than anything else. Sorry for what? For ruining your life too. I stepped closer, slowly, like one wrong move would make her disappear. You didn't ruin anything. My voice cracked. You found me. She looked at me like she didn't believe it, and honestly, I wasn't sure I believed it either. But I knew one thing. That night wasn't an accident. It was the moment life decided to tell the truth. 17 years late, but still, the truth. And I wasn't walking away this time. Not again. Not ever. Because she was only 17 years old, and that night changed everything.
Thank you for watch, guys, girls. Thank you, subscribe for more videos. Thank you.